and probably has all the secrets. Jay Loud's married.
Well, that's a pretty hard act to follow there. I'm not very accustomed to doing this, but first and foremost, I'd like to offer my heartfelt condolences to the family and their friends, special friends out there. And Adam, you mentioned something about athleticism. He just didn't really get it, did he? Bill and I met a number of years ago, and in the early 1990s, and we just seemed to hit it off. And right from the start, we enjoyed a number of the same things, from sports to music, and just simply hanging out together, you know, have a few beers and talk about life in general, you know. And every once in a while there was some alcohol involved, but maybe one or two, but we didn't think it was to the excess, or so we thought. I don't know. And I apologize. I'm short and to the point. I think everybody should have a drink or two on my buddy Billy. Heaven's receiving one hell of a nice, great guy. I'll miss you, buddy. Always remember you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jay. Finally today, we have Bill's two children, Megan and Mark, to share a few memories of their father.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Megan. I was lucky enough to call Bill my dad, and I'd like to share with you how great of a dad he truly was. For much of our childhood, Dad was involved in our sports, whether he was coaching us or helping with the executive functions of the sports associations. He tried to show us the importances that sport could have on our lives to make us better as a whole. Even now, every time I'm running around the bases in the slow pitch league Adam, Dad, and I have played in together for years now, I can still hear him yelling, "Run faster!" just like he did when I was a little girl. He taught us the importance of trying our best, whether it was in sports or in school, because he knew that we would be better people for it. Dad was the type of guy who would take me and my buddy Curtis to a Backstreet Boys concert, and he was just excited to be there as we were. And I'm sure he was pretty unique for that. He was always there for me. When I got dumped in university, he bought me the most beautiful flowers, and I'm sorry, Mom, but he never touched them. You know, they were always nicer than the ones you got. When I couldn't see that I was going to be okay and I was bawling in bed, Dad crawled in beside me and wiped my tears, and he let me know that I was going to be just fine. And here we are. So we spent summers camping and lounging by the pool growing up. Wherever we were together as a family with Dad at the center. The past few years, we were fortunate to travel down south, where Dad would spend time beforehand researching resorts, becoming an amateur travel agent along the way. He always made sure to find the resorts with the best swim-up bars. We spent a week together in Ireland with his relatives from the homeland, and we also took a trip out west to see his sister Aunt Kathy, where he insisted on adding a trip to Vancouver on top of this trip to Calgary that he, Aunt Kathy, his brother, and parents did every year as children. The last few years since his diagnosis with prostate cancer have taught me so much about who my dad was. When he was first diagnosed, he completely changed his lifestyle, giving up red meat, dairy, and instead drinking shakes of various shades of green. He also developed an obsession with and even experienced one overdose of cayenne pepper. He showed us that while he would never be able to outrun the cancer, he wouldn't go down without a fight. His optimism throughout the past few years showed us the type of man that he was, such as when he would sugarcoat to the doctors every single appointment how he truly felt. It was especially evident when we would walk out of the appointment. I would be devastated, having only heard the worst of what the doctor said, and Dad would only think of the one positive, slight thing that the doctor said. So that was the type of man Dad was. Most importantly, from the past few years, I will remember the good things. He truly enjoyed being a mortgage agent and felt like he was making a difference in people's lives. I'll never forget him on my wedding day telling the girls not to be nervous as they walked down the steps of Ivy Spencer towards the aisle. But then as it was our turn, he turned to me and said, "I don't know, I'm so nervous." He got giddy, but we got it down the aisle, hand in hand, and it was a wonderful moment in memory for me. He is my dad. He was loving, caring, generous, and that's how I'll remember him. Thank you to all of you for being here today. It's really special to us, so thank you.
Well, it was a little close, sorry. Anyways, on behalf of my family, I would just like to say thank you for everybody that has come from short and far to making it out for this trip to celebrate the life of my father, Bill Moody. Words can't really express the gratitude that we're all feeling, and personally I feel pretty friggin' humbled to see everybody here, so that's nice to see. I'm honored to be able to speak here today about my most important man in my life, which is my dad, most commonly known as Bill. However, he was known by many names to many different people along his journey. To my granny, he was known as Billy. To many of the people in the Dorchester community, he was Mr. Moody. And his best friend, Jay Lounsbury. He was famously referred to as Buford or Bildred, which with nicknames Jay could only get away with saying. Typically Dad was pretty soft-hearted, easygoing kind of dude, and he didn't really get worked up too often, my father. However, I do remember coming out of a hockey dressing room with hockey stick and bag in hand. I was probably about 11 or 12 years old. I saw my dad standing talking to another parent, and I shouted, "Hey Buford, let's go." Let's just say I never ever referred to him or called him that ever again. And he let it be known if I was going to continue playing hockey, my equipment from here on out would always be secondhand. Dad was many things in his life. As Adam has touched on, he's been a father, he's been a husband, brother, he's a respected businessman, he's a badass public speaker he was, he loved music. If you were fortunate enough to know the Bill who liked to go out and socialize, have drinks, maybe even pop the clutch a little bit, you will know that he was a little bit of a shit disturber, and he always had a little bit of a unique and very quirky sense of humor. If you would like to expand more and hear more on that, feel free to approach Rob O'Neill, wherever he might be sitting right now. So talk to him later on, and that was Dad's old partner in crime, if you will. I really don't entirely presume to know the man that Dad was to each and every one of you here today, as I don't know each and every one of you here today. And he really did, he affected all of us differently. But I'm sure you can recognize the man we all know, and with my words here today. So, he instilled me to be honest, noble, genuine, understanding, and an ambitious man. He was always trying to better himself and the people whom he cared for and the people he loved. When he saw potential in someone, he would always voice it and motivate them to maximize their capabilities. Whether they liked it or not, many of these times when I say whether they liked it or not, I'm actually talking about myself here, but from my grades in school, like sports teams and stuff, high school sports even, he took his cooking on the barbecue pretty seriously, so I'm pretty badass on there now myself. And lastly, becoming a mortgage broker. Another thing. He's always told me, finish what you start, give 110%. And for crying in the sink, Mark, I don't want to hear your excuses. That will ring out forever. We went everywhere together. We spent a lot of time together over the years. Family trips to Florida, family trips to Jamaica. He would enjoy coming to my favorite hangout place, which is Milos's Craft Beer Emporium, which is located at the corner of Talbot and Carly. No advertising. Oh yeah, and he was a big avid fan of the Toronto Raptors, Calgary Flames. He liked watching the Knights even, and he'd always take me to the Detroit car show. I'd just really like to wrap this up to say thank you for being here today. We immensely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure from the bottom of all of my family's heart. But anyways, no more sorrow, and we're here to celebrate the life of my father. Have a drink, guys. Thank you very much.
Can we do it on the TV even?
Yeah.
When we talk to you, when we go knocking?
Thank you guys. You did a great job there. We might have somewhat of an encore presentation, some live video of Bill. I think that was referenced earlier, but
Yeah, I don't know if it quit. She said she has somebody that can study on the series, so maybe we can watch it later.
yeah, we can watch it later. Yeah, you'll have to stick around for